This is DLFM Online Radio Station Chicago. Dimensión Latina FM Radio TV. Baja nuestra aplicación a través de tu iPhone o Android. Búscanos como Dímela FM. Búscanos en TuneIn Radio como Dimensión Latina FM y visita nuestra página web dimelafm.com.
Puedo hacer el examen de GED en español. El General Education Development Test, por sus siglas en inglés, consta de 4 exámenes de materias que, una vez aprobadas, le otorgan una credencial equivalente a la de high school a aquellas personas que por diversos motivos tuvieron que abandonar los estudios. Si tu interés es tomar el examen en español, debes crear una cuenta directamente en ged.com/ES. Para más información, visita laredhispana.com.
Y ahora Dimensión Latina FM, tu radio por internet, presenta programación en vivo. Estaremos transmitiendo a través del Facebook Live. ¡Comenzamos!
Dimensión Latina FM, tu radio por internet presenta Alas de Amor. Un programa con enfoque en los niños y jóvenes para la salud y bienestar de ellos y sus familias. Conducido por ELSA PRADO. Bienvenidos.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Wings of Love. I am your host, ELSA PRADO, and today we have a wonderful program for you today. Our guest is VILMA COLOM. She is a mom, grandmother, and community servant. She also has an MA in Educational Administration. She was the first Latina to serve in the City Council of Chicago as alderperson and committee woman of the 35th Ward. Currently, she's president of the Illinois Northern Illinois chapter of the National Conference of Puerto Rican Women. And she just recently authored Lead Like a Lady, Be Confident in Your Cause. Welcome to Wings of Love, Vilma.
Thank you. I greatly appreciate you inviting me and look forward to responding to whatever questions you have.
Yes, one of the things that I wanted to do first was introduce you to the people that might not know you, even though you are very well known in our community in Chicago. There's people that are from other places that probably don't know who you are. So tell us about your new book. Why did you title it Lead Like a Lady?
Being the first Latina elected to the city council was a decision that I made with my family. I didn't want to make it on my own. And I just felt that there was too much going on in Chicago, Illinois, where women were being excluded from a lot of issues in the communities. And I felt kind of like, let me connect with women all over the world that I respect. And I think they do what they should do to not just divide women from men and family, but to unite the community and address community issues that benefit the family and their children. So when I was approached to run for office, I said, well, I have to think about that because I never thought about that. I was never involved politically. I've always been involved in community endeavors, always involved in Humboldt Park, Logan Square, Hermosa, all over the city because that was my personality. I worked as the HR person for Allstate Insurance in Northbrook, and I reported to the senior vice president of HR. And when the opportunity came, he's like, I would take that. And if for some reason you don't get elected, don't worry, you'll still have your job. And my job was to work nationally and steal people like you to come work for us. Because a lot of people didn't know that within the insurance industry, and just like right now, the job I have in government, a lot of people don't know that the skills you have could be transferred to different industries. So I decided to run for office, got support from my entire family and my ex-husband, and they were the ones pushing the envelope. You got to do it. You got to do it. And I was like, oh, do I really want to do this or not? The only thing that changed in my life was my job. I traveled all over the world. And whenever our senior vice president spoke in Washington, LULAC, La Raza, all the national Latino, Hispanic organizations, I was his person that would go to his meetings, express our interests in what they were doing and the platform we were taking within the insurance industry. So I took that opportunity. The day I got elected, I was shocked. Before the media came to interview me, I ran to a bathroom and I started like, oh my God, what am I doing? And I started thinking, how am I going to get trained to be a receptive elected official that addresses everybody's concern? And when you become an elected official, and especially a city council person, an alderman, 50% of the people love you, 50% don't like you at all. So I had a lot of challenges, including the church that I went to. I used to go to a church called Armitage Baptist Church that still exists. And there were certain platforms that were being promoted when people ran for office. The day I ran for office, there was 9 people running for that position, including me. And there was a gentleman, his name was Michael Wojak. He was the alderman of that area because the city was changing and more Hispanics, Latino, and Puerto Ricans were being put in a specific community. Somehow we all moved to the same area because we could relate to the people in our community. So they said, well, this ward has to be run by an Hispanic. And a lot of people approached me, and that's when I said, you know what, this must be God's will. I'm going to do it. If I lose, I could go back to my job and travel all over the country and live out of a suitcase like I was doing. So it was 8 years. The first 2 years were very challenging because I had to figure out who to trust, who can I use as a mentor, who can I speak to about what I thought, what I didn't agree with, and how to connect with the mayor and my colleagues in the city council. Because every time decisions were made, we all had to vote. And when you voted, the media would take pictures, document what you say, and then you don't know if the community and the voters are going to agree with what you're saying. So I had one particular issue, and that's when the city decided to vote on allowing people who get married, regardless of their gender, get married and be able to get health insurance. So whether you're married with a man, a woman, or a man married with a man, I felt that health insurance should be something available to everybody who's your partner. And what happens behind closed doors between you and your partner, that should not be our business.
Exactly.
So I almost lost the election because 4 days before the election, the pastor had a meeting at our church on Armitage Baptist Church, which was on Kedzie, near Logan Boulevard. And he said I had to come to a meeting. I don't know if you remember Jose Matos. He was very well known in our community. He died like almost 12 years ago. But anyway, I was asked that the church membership wanted me to come and go on stage. So I assume they want me to promote what my platform was going to be politically. And what they did was put me in a hot spot and say, okay, the city council is pushing this health benefit for everybody, regardless who you're married to. We don't think that you should support it if they're not ensuring that the people that are married are men and women. And if you do that, we're going to have to take your church membership back and you cannot come to this church anymore. And I was like, I'm on the stage at church.
Right. And you're feeling like I'm getting ousted.
Yeah.
And
that's what happened.
This where you're kind of telling our young women, be confident with your cause, because your cause at that time was basically just having universal health care. Everybody gets, if you're in a partnership and, regardless, if it's same sex or, men and women, you were just trying to get everybody health care.
Yeah, that was my agenda. So they told me no, and we need you to leave the church now. So I got kind of thrown out of the church. I go outside the building, the media is there, and two friends. One was Jose Matos, which I brought up, and then there was another pastor, and they came and they're like, come on, let's hold hands and let's pray. We don't agree with you politically, but we understand that you're being open to everybody in the community. And what happens with relationships, it's not something that an alderman should make a decision for. So we're not going to be upset with you. And one of the pastors read something from the Bible, and I try to remember what it was. I looked for all my notes and history, and I couldn't remember. But what he said was, you put things in God's hands, and God wants everybody to do well and to feel well.
Exactly.
And to get services that they need. And why would you as an elected official block that with people? So we support you regardless if that's not something that the Bible agrees with. So believe it or not, I got elected and I beat everybody and I got good points. In fact, Iris Martinez, who was the senator and the clerk of the circuit court, she ran as well. So when you run for alderman, there's could be 7, 8 people you run, and then the 2 people who have the highest voters, then they run against each other again. And so I was lucky that she supported me, and 7 other people who were running supported me. So there was just one person that wasn't supporting me. And I'm like, well, it is what it is. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. Mm-hmm. So that opportunity came through. I was emotional when I won because I was shocked. And I said, I never thought about running for office. So once I accomplished that goal, I started writing a journal, like a diary, of things that I thought I did well and things that I thought I should have done different. And then I changed the neighborhood. And how did I change the neighborhood? People were saying we're tired of the gangbangers, the drug dealers, the prostitutions. So I was able to get rid of all that stuff. And then some of the people in our community got me really upset because as I was cleaning the neighborhood and getting rid of violence, they decided to sell their homes. So, Elsa, okay, you bought your house 20 years ago for $50,000. Let's use that.
Right.
So somebody comes, offers you money for $200,000. Did you do research to see with the present economy where that would take you? And where if I'm getting $200,000 when I pay $50,000, am I going to be able to find a home similar to what I have to fulfill my family needs or what? So a lot of people, I would say, Mira, don't sell your house. Do your homework. Look and see what neighborhoods you want to move into before you agree to sell your house to this person. Because you may think, oh my God, I bought it for 50. Now I'm going to get 150. Okay, where are you going to move? Did you research the community you're going to move? Are you going to be able to afford it? And a lot of them didn't do that. So a gentleman who had a similar last name, his name, I don't know how he got recruited. I was told it had to be the people that I got rid of the neighborhoods because one of his relatives was one of the main leaders of a gang that I'm not going to mention.
Right.
And they got together and they decided to come after me. And that's how I lost. But I don't regret anything I did. And so when I lost my election, I decided that I need to open the doors to other women, abriendo las puertas para las mujeres del futuro. So let's say Elsa's like, Vilma, I'm thinking of doing this and that. Don't give up. Don't be an obstacle in your life. So what I did was I wrote a story about how my family came from Puerto Rico to Chicago. When we first came here, we lived on North Avenue in Wells. Now, if you live on North Avenue in Wells, you got lots of dinero. When we were there, it was Mexican, Guatemalan, Puerto Rican, Colombians, a little bit of everything. And then a lot of people, including my family, people who came from Puerto Rico to Chicago, we would welcome them to our house for a couple of months and help them find an apartment. And one apartment, and every time I drive through this, because I have to go downtown for my job with the Cook County, I go through North Avenue and Laramie Street, okay? Well, that was one of the buildings where we lived. And my dad was in the military. The building we lived in was an SRO. Do you know what an SRO is?
No.
Okay. An SRO is a building where people do not have their own private bathroom.
Oh, wow.
Bathtub or none of that. So we shared, it would be 4 floors and every floor had a bathroom, a shower, but people had to take turns using it. You couldn't leave your towels there, your toothbrush, none of that. So my mom, because my dad was in the military, I don't know how she did it, but we got a bathtub. And the bathtub was put under our kitchen table.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And whenever we had to take a bath, water from a fregadero, and we took the bath in our kitchen.
Oh,
the
wow.
only thing that we couldn't do was using the bathroom.
Right, of course.
So whenever we had to go use the bathroom, one of us would have to stand outside the door to make sure nothing happened to us because of our neighbors. So we were in an SRO. Then there was a place called Matlick House, which is on Ashland near Van Buren. And Matlick House was almost like Salvation Army. So when people came to this country, you were able to get clothes, shoes, and all that reasonable. So that's all the stuff I went through. And when people see me or got to know me, they thought my family had this. No, my family didn't have any of that, you know? And then I went to Thule High School. And during the period of time where Mayor Daley's father was the mayor, the Humboldt Park community went south. They got tired about how the city was not helping the Latino community and the Puerto Rican community. There was a riot. It was crazy. So I decided, you know what? There might be other women that want to explore this career. Let me share with them the experiences I went to, the positive, the negative, the in between, and also featured them in my book, which I did. I featured all the Latinas elected officials. I feature all the judges because that was great. Having Latinas and Latino judges help us understand the law citywide, countywide, and statewide. And so I wanted to show people, here's my history. I didn't come up with a lot of money. This opportunity came for some odd reason. And I invited family and my professional contacts to tell me what they thought I should do. I took the risk. God made it happen. And I loved my job. I loved having meetings on a quarterly basis and getting feedback from the community, what I needed to work on, what I needed to change. And if the neighborhood got gentrified, I didn't own the real estate properties and people didn't listen. There was a program called TIF program that people could get grant money to fix their roof, their windows, but they didn't do that. They were like, oh my God, this guy John is giving me $150,000. I bought the house for $50,000. You don't know where you're putting yourself, you know?
Right.
You should have done research before you sold the house so you could see wherever you thought you were gonna live was gonna cost you more than what you think you were getting. So that's why I was told that I lost my election. And was it challenging for me? Yes. And especially when everybody who supported me said they wanted me to get rid of all this negative energy that was happening on Armitage, Kedzie. And then if you weren't Latino, Puerto Rican, but you were Latino, not Puerto Rican, you would get, if you weren't part of this gang or this group. So those people, and some of them changed their lifestyle and apologized to me, but that's what happens in life. So we can't take it personal. And what I would try to do is have quarterly meetings with people from different areas of my ward to get their feedback about things the city wanted to do, the mayor's office wanted to do, and then get them to vote yes or no. And the highest amount of yeses is how I made my decision. And of course, there's going to be others that said no, that are not going to be in your direction. So that was my experience.
It's a lot of history.
Yes. And then what I also did in my book is taught people how they could help people register to vote. How do you go and get people to sign petitions to get you on the ballot? How to keep trust a small group of people, because sometimes there's people that I know that ran for office that had people get signatures for them and they never made it because they stood somewhere and they didn't say, hey, are you 18? Do you vote? Are you registered to vote? Blah, blah, blah. And people didn't do that to everybody. So I made sure I got a close-knit group to make sure I would get on the ballot. And I was lucky because I worked with Congressman Gutierrez. I worked with Chuy Garcia. We all went to college together at the University of Illinois. So it was kind of weird how life changed and then we all connect again after 15, 20 years. When we went to college, our university was called University of Illinois Circle Campus. And now it's called University of Illinois. But I'm just proud that I took that opportunity. Why didn't I did try to run again to get my seat back. But then as I was running, I realized that that's not really what God wanted me to do. Right. And so I ran and I was like, okay, if I win, I win. If I don't, I don't. But what I decided to do is when other women wanted to run, I told them, call me. I'll tell you my advice, what to do, what not to do, what people to trust, what people not to trust that claim they're trusting you, and how to follow the legal alignment of elections so you don't put yourself in an awkward situation. So that's where I'm at. And I just featured several women who mentored me. One of them was the governor of Texas. She was a mentor for me. There were several people. Hillary Clinton was one of my advisors, and I was trying to find a picture of her and me when she made an announcement that she was supporting me, but I couldn't. I don't know what I did. I sold my move, but can't find all my pictures. But then I was very blessed, which I found during Strange. All the men in my house, with a couple of my sister-in-laws, they were basketball. I love basketball. I love basketball. And my comadre's husband was the marketing manager for people in the basketball area. So Michael Jackson, there were other of them, and they got together. And if you could look at my book, you'll see that they raised money for me on my first fundraiser. And I was like, I don't really know these people, but they had opened up a nightclub on Ontario, almost near Clark, and they did the fundraiser. And that evening I was shocked because people that I never thought would support me, they came, donated money, and endorsed me. And that's how I stayed for another term. So that's where I'm at. I did feature in my book one person who was not Latina, and I worked for her, but I did not get my job from her, Tony Predwinkle, who's the president of Cook County. Why did I put her in the book? Because I support women. Sotomayor, there's all kinds of women, but there's only one woman who's not Latina that I endorse 100%, and she's the president of Cook County. She is very transparent, very community-oriented, very making sure that services are rendered to people who live in Cook County. So I featured her in the book too, and people are probably gonna say, why is she in this book? So to me, I'm the kind of person that if I believe in you, it doesn't matter who will challenge what I say. I'm going to promote you and help you with whatever I can. And if I can't help you, I'll just pray that God blesses you and opens the doors that you're looking for. So that's my goal in life. And now what I've done with my role as the National Conference of Puerto Rican Women, Northern Illinois, I do summits with youth, junior and senior girls. Right. And the purpose of that is to teach them how to apply for scholarships. And if you don't want to go to college because you think that the money that you don't get from the scholarship is going to create a financial burden on your parents, there's internships, apprenticeships, and there's fellowships that you could participate in. So we had an event 2 weeks ago at Northeastern University El Centro. We had 200 high school girls. When the event finished, they didn't want to leave. So we felt, and it was, I didn't do this by myself. I did it with a young girl. Her name is Angie Acevedo. Her husband is a DJ, DJ Lugo. And then the other girl was Dana Torres Quinones, and she does a lot of marketing. And the three of us had the same platform, Abriendo la Puerta del Futuro, opening the doors for the future, because we see that after COVID, our new generation is fearful of what to do. And unless their job is remote or they can't do Instagram or whatever, they don't want to work. And it's like, hey, time is flying. And if you don't prepare now, some of these opportunities may not exist. And like, look what's going on with AI, okay? It's great, but it could take a lot of people's jobs. And if you use that to promote your platform, but you don't massage it so the platform you're promoting is really who you are, where are you going to go?
Right. It's a whole different perspective, right? The way the current times are leading the young women as opposed to in the past. tell us a little bit more about your perspective as far as what you are trying to encourage them into being leaders, right?
Yes.
But at the same time, you're a leader, but you're also a lady leader.
Yes. So my thing is, like today, I did a couple of workshops at the American Job Center in Pilsen. And when you say you're going to Pilsen, everybody's got, oh, you're going to the Latino community again? Just because it's in Pilsen doesn't mean everybody that's coming to this is Latino or Latina. It was very mixed, and I was teaching people how to apply, how to not give up. When you're looking for a career, sometimes we think that the skills that we have cannot be transferred to this industry, or there's opportunities that unless I have lots of money, I can't run for office. None of that is true. You're creating your own obstacles. So to me, my legacy is to tell people whatever you feel here and here that you want to do, you need to run the show and use whatever steps you can to get there. How do you do that? You reach out to people that you like what they stand for, professionally and politically, and ask them, would they be your sponsor or your mentor? And those are the people that help you. I'll give you an example. There's a young man that I mentored, and I was shocked because somebody says, you're on LinkedIn. I said, yeah, I'm on LinkedIn promoting jobs at Cook County. They're like, no, somebody wrote this wonderful thing about you. And I'm like, really? I go on LinkedIn. He's Mexicano. Okay. I mentored him and helped him open the doors mentally, physically, and emotionally. He got a big job with ASE, the Hispanic Alliance for Career Enhancement. And he wrote the whole story, how I mentored him. But I could mentor you, but if you don't follow the suggestions and recommendations, you're not going to go where you want to go. So now he's doing very well financially. He found out I wrote a book. If you look on LinkedIn, you'll see what he wrote. And I got so emotional. I'm like, my God, you share that with everybody? Because normally when you get sponsors or mentors, you don't share that with the world. But he says, I have to share it because of you. I am where I'm at today. So I got a little emotional, and I was like, oh, I feel good that I made that happen. But you really made it happen. I just gave you information on how you could make it happen, and you took the steps to make it happen. So that's what I'm doing with a lot of the Latinas who ran for alderman, Millie Santiago, Ruth Cruz, several of them. I gave them advice. I told them the obstacles I went through and the mistakes that I made so they don't repeat the mistakes. And believe it or not, they're all doing great, and they all keep getting elected, no matter who runs against them. So I didn't have that opportunity to reach out to them.
It makes a difference, right? When you have somebody kind of guiding your steps and kind of telling you, go this way, go that way.
Yes, or they call me confidentially and I give them advice, or I tell them, research this, look into this. But whatever you feel here and whatever direction you want to go, if there's a rough decision you have to make, I would do telemarketing and have the people in your community say, yes, I support this decision. No, I don't. And whoever has the highest rate, that's the direction you got to go, whether you agree with it or not. Otherwise, you're not going to get reelected. And that's what happened to me.
Right. Very good perspective. And it's also very rewarding. I feel that now when you see the success in somebody else from your mentorship, that has to be just amazing.
Right. And you don't have to disclose how you helped other people, none of that, because it's nobody's business. Being a mentor or sponsor of somebody, that's between you and the person. Now, if the person decides to do like he did, that's up to them, but that's not up to you. It's not about you. It's about them and how they could get where they're going to go to for the future, and how their professional and political motivations impacts our neighborhood and our community. And that's why we have a lot of elected officials out here. And I'm not the only one that did this. There were other people that have done the same thing. And part of it is I decided to go that direction because when I went to high school, Carl Schurz High School, there were only 3 Latinos in the school and maybe 1 Asian and a couple African Americans. And this one American teacher became my mentor, and she helped me because we were at Thule High School. And during the years, you're going to know how old I am now. The year at Thule High School was during the time the Beatles were famous. And the Beatles had the leather coats with the Frenches. Me and my sister bought one, and my dad thought we were trying to be Latin queens.
Oh, no.
So he decided to talk to somebody he knew and lied about where we lived, and we got accepted to Schurz High School. If my dad didn't do that, I don't know, would I have finished my bachelor's degree, my master's degree? Who knows? Mm-hmm. But it did add some confusion to us where we felt, well, you're not proud of us being Puerto Rican or proud of us living in Humboldt Park. And then he would say that when we got home, do your homework. After you do your homework, we had to go to his store. There was only 2 record shops in Humboldt Park. One multinational record on Division Street, and my dad was La Impala record shop. So we had to go after we did our homework. He would send somebody to pick us up. We had to be at his store for 3 hours selling music. Spanish, English, a little bit of Polish, jewelry, figuras, and all that. Many years later, the chica lost this. And a lot of people don't know that I'm wearing hearing aids, and I've been wearing them for 15 years, and it had to do with the music, you know?
Oh, wow. Were you blasting the music?
Yeah, during those days, Elsa, the record shops were able to put those mics out their store. And so when people walk, you put music so that people, oh yeah, let me go buy that record. So, but you know what? That's the way my life was. There were times that I was really upset about it, but I'm like, I found a good hearing doctor and I'm okay. And everybody's like, you wear hearing aids? I'm like, yeah, you can't see them, but I wear them. And, you know, a lot of times when our parents make decisions for us as we're growing up, we get upset or we get angry and we're like, why did they make us do this? But even though my dad did what he did, I thought, could I have not finished college?
Right.
I've not finished graduate school. And maybe that's how me and my sisters accomplished that goal.
And I hope that some of our youth and moms are taking note of what you're saying, because I myself had to tell my daughter at certain points when she was in high school and in college, trust me, there is a reason to my madness. You don't understand why I say the things that I do, but it's like you said, we had to really learn, probably in a harder way, especially when we're first generation and we don't have somebody that's going to be guiding us. We had to learn it on our own, which makes a big difference as opposed to some of these younger girls that have already been mentored. We had to do it without mentoring with anyone.
And today they have opportunities for scholarships, for apprenticeships, for fellowships. When we went to school, those opportunities didn't exist. And most of us had to go to school, come home, clean the house, help cook, and then we also had to get a part-time job to help our parents financially. And today, a lot of these kids don't have that challenge. And a lot of them live with their mom or dad and they don't pay for anything. You go to school, don't worry, we got this. We couldn't do that because financially, our parents, because of limitation of English language, and skills that they had when they came from Mexico, Puerto Rico, South America. It's different than today. And there was not a lot of on-the-job training opportunities like there is today, or junior colleges that will teach you certain skills so you can get a job and then go to another college. So that's why I tell these young people, you got it made compared to us. We didn't have any of that. No. None of that. We didn't even get a car so we could drive to school. You had to take 3-4 buses, no matter where it was. And the neighborhood was a little challenging, and we had to learn how to go
navigate, as they say,
navigate the neighborhood, and
the neighborhood, and know what were the unsafe areas, and you had to watch your back.
Yes, exactly. So it is what it is. But I think today, hopefully, they're seeing how all of us, including you, look where you're at. Okay. A lot of us Latinas were not in the media, whether it was radio, TV, marketing, newspaper, none of that. So I think that people like you and me are possible lights to their future, where they could see below the tunnel, there's a light there. You could go there, turn it on or turn it off.
Right. And reach for the dreams, dare to dream and make it happen is what I always say.
Whatever you believe in, you stick to it. You don't change it because other people are trying to influence you. You could say, Elsa, thank you for your opinion and advice, but let's agree to disagree, but I'm not your enemy. And
exactly.
During our days of growing up, that wasn't an option.
No, exactly. And I like the way you're carrying it towards the confidence, because you can't be living in fear. I mean, we had to overcome certain things that would have scared anybody. It would have made you not want to move.
Right. Well, like today, this past weekend, I went to Latina Expo. Okay. And the luncheon was awesome. There were women from all over Florida, New York, Mexico, everywhere they came. And then Saturday, there was vendors tables. People could come for job opportunities. People could promote their business. And all of a sudden, what's going on in this country, what's outside the door of Malcolm X College. Yeah. So the next day, excuse me a minute.
No problem.
The next day, a lot of vendors didn't show up. A lot of women didn't participate. And every year when they have the Latino Expo, there's 1,000 people that participate. A lot of them didn't show up. Right. It's because of what's happening in the White House.
Mm-hmm. And people, you don't blame them. They want to stay safe. And based on what we're seeing, just in just your view, about what's come down on us. And if you were the alder person of yesterday, what would you say?
I would say put everything in God's hands, but make sure you have appropriate documentation so they don't throw you out the door. And I would have done what Jesse Fuentes did this week at Humboldt Park. This person's leg got broken. I don't remember how that happened. And you're going to go to the hospital and arrest them because you think they're an immigrant? Come on. What is your problem?
Very evil, the stuff that we're seeing. Very evil. I have just been shocked to see such brutality, the cruelty. I mean, I have not seen them even ask, are you so-and-so? At no point. And God knows
everybody's not doing illegal work. And a lot of these people that are here, people hired them and said, don't worry, I'm going to pay you cash. So I'm going to hire all these immigrants to work my farm, to work my cleaning service, to work in the hospitals, to work in the hotels. But now all of a sudden, I want to mess with you and say, listen, you do this or you're out, okay? And I feel that both parties should have worked together to enhance our immigration process. And both parties have not done that. So I blame both of them. The other thing is that everybody hires immigrants to do jobs, okay? And they do a great job. But now all of a sudden, we're getting rid of them. Who's going to do that work? Exactly. And our generation today, they don't want to be a landscaper. They don't want to be a construction worker. They don't want to be this. And it's like, well, if you don't go to college, you're going to have to do this. What are you going to do? And we as women cannot depend on the men in our life because, first of all, we shouldn't burden our partners and make them feel that they're responsible for all the finances in our family. And we should not put the pressure on our family. It should be a partnership. We both work, we both help. It should be teamwork. It should be teamwork. But when we were growing up, it wasn't like that. You stay home, you raise the kids, daddy will have to take care of everything. And then
I just told somebody today, I said, you know what? I remember my high school counselor telling me that was going to be my job. I never would. Can you imagine if I would have gone with what my high school counselor said? I was just going to be a homemaker.
I was going to be a babysitter. And it's kind of like you could do both things, but you should be able to do other things that you want to do where financially all the pressure is not put on your partner, whether it's a man or a woman. It should be a partnership where you work together as a family to make sure your kids and your environment is meeting the needs of your future, you know? Exactly. So
take note, girls. Take note.
Yeah, and I think, but I still think all over this country, because of what's happened with Hillary and then our other person who ran, a woman, that the men, and I'm not trying to beat them up, they don't think women are ready to be president of the U.S. And that's why we lost the election. Because a lot of people I know, some of them women who are normally voting as Democrats, went south and decided to vote for a Republican, which I respect whatever opinion you have, but where has that gotten us today?
Now look at us now.
Yeah, we're going backwards, you know? So, and if these two parties don't align themselves to agree on certain issues, this country's going south.
You know, the word we don't hear no more is bipartisan.
Right.
Have you noticed?
Yes. Absolutely.
I can't remember the last time I heard the word bipartisan. I was thinking about that the other day. I'm like, wow, what happened to being bipartisan and, you know, trying to work where things work for both sides?
Right. And look at issues that will connect people regardless of their political platforms, you know? Things that we have to do in the health industry, doesn't matter what party you're with. Things that we have to do to run a healthy environment for our children and our family, doesn't matter what party you live. Things that we have to do to ensure we could buy a home and have a financial stable situation, that shouldn't matter what party you support. It's something that it's the basic needs of life that we have to follow, you know? So,
and being human, you know?
Right.
Just so being human. I think for some reason, everything is being dehumanized.
Yes.
And it's just horrifying
yes.
to see it. Like, what happened? What happened to us as human beings? It's just very unsettling.
And now what I've noticed is that even between the Latino community, a lot of people, when we were dealing with the Venezuelan immigrants, some of the people that I know and people that I respect, they're like, well, when I came here from Guatemala, When I came here from Puerto Rico, Colombia, I didn't get SNAP food stamps. I didn't get a Visa credit card. I didn't get a cell phone. I didn't get health insurance. Why are we doing this for these people? And these are Latinos like you and me.
Mhm.
And so we're thinking about what happened to us in the past. So we're upset that you're getting this benefit that we didn't get. But
Right.
then because you did what you did, look what we're dealing with today. Now it doesn't matter whether you look light skin, dark skin. If they think they want to go after you, it don't matter. Then later on, after they arrest you, they find out, oh, we made a mistake. She's not an immigrant, or he's not an immigrant. They're
Right.
citizens, you know.
Yeah.
But look at the stressful situation you're going through. It's
I mean, the chaos is unbelievable, but just, to continue with the subject that we are here for today, that's your book. And where can it be purchased? How can they get a copy of Lead Like a Lady?
my book is being sold on Amazon, so you could just type my name, VILMA COLOM book, and it's $19.95. The money I raise for my book is going to go to scholarships for young girls. That's my goal and objective. The month of November, I'm going to have an event. It might be at the National Puerto Rican Museum, where I'm going to promote the book. This month, when the book came out quickly, I didn't think it would be published so quick. They said, oh, go on Amazon, look. I was like, what? It was already published. So I was happy, but I said, I can't do a book signing event till November because I'm involved in so many activities this month that
Right.
I got to focus on certain things,
Mhm.
And so I don't want it to just be about me. And then when I do the event, it's going to be open to whether you're Puerto Rican or not. It's about learning how to play the game politically to get you where you want to go professionally, politically, and via your community. That's my goal.
Exactly. That's awesome.
Thank
That
you.
is amazing. Well, I hope that our audience, and I hope a lot of young women pick up your book and they take your lead. I think they have a lot to learn from you. I think sometimes it's sad that a lot of young women right now are feeling down because of the environment that is around them. I totally understand. I get it. But we can't let this bring us down and totally tear us apart. We still have to forge ahead. We have to keep going. We have to keep
Right.
moving.
Right.
And yes, times are tough right now. Things are really difficult for some of us, but we still need to keep going. That's why Latinas are warriors, and we have to be brave. And we have to, my mom always told me, suck it up like a Mexicana.
Being a warrior doesn't mean that we're going to just, in my book, you'll see that I got where I'm at because of men in my life, and including some men who weren't Latinos were my mentor. So I always tell people, do not judge a book by its cover.
By its cover, correct.
Because you never know what direction those people will take you to.
Mm-hmm.
And that's in my book too.
Definitely. I'm sure it is. I had a feeling it would be. But we're running out of time, and I want to thank you so much for your time today, for collaborating with Wings of Love. And part of my platform is my passion and love for our community and our youth, which is our future. Our youth is tomorrow. So I really want to bring things that are going to enlighten our youth in any way possible, and that there's women that are willing to mentor you, through books, through different avenues, events, workshops. There's all kinds of things in the community going on that are designed and made for you, young
And
women,
you could approach
and our youth.
You could approach people that you see on TV, in the news, whatever, and say, hey, would you be willing to be my mentor? That's the risk you got to take.
Exactly.
And I bet you that most likely they'll say yes. And I tell people, focus on people that you admire in your industry that you're pursuing. And those people will help open the doors for your future.
Absolutely.
But you got to be confident in your cause, what you stand for.
You heard it from Vilma.
That's the way I feel.
Confident in your cause. So pick your cause or causes, if you have more than one cause in life. We also have a life's mission to accomplish. We're here for a reason. We're here to serve a purpose, and we're not here as a decoration. So I really am a firm believer. Get the silly ideas out of your head about being the fairy tale princess, because that doesn't really exist.
Right.
Only in the little fiction storybooks, not in real life.
Right. And if you become a princess that's dependent on other people, including the partner in your life, whether it's a man or a woman, you're not going to reach your goals in life. You could get their advice, get their opinion, but at the end of the day, be confident with what you think and what you support.
You heard it from Vilma. Thank you so much, Vilma,
All right,
for your time today.
Greatly appreciate you.
And we're gonna have to close for today, but of course, you know the door's open for if down the road there's something other than your book or something else, maybe book number 2, who knows?
Okay.
You might have another part 2 to what you're doing. But it's a very heartwarming to me that you're here and that you're still doing the work that you're doing, and that's mentoring young women through the organization. And like Vilma says, she is very open to helping. And girls, please take those scholarships. Go for every grant, every fellowship, any internship, whatever you can get your hands on. Go for it.
Right.
Go for it and make it happen. No one's going to do it for you. You have to do it yourself.
Right.
So with that said, I'm going to have to say good night for today. Okay. And I really wish you a lot of success with your book, Vilma. I hope that, it really enriches lives and it's something that will become another piece of your mentorship through your book, which I think is, one of the elements in doing a book. As an author myself, I think that we want to share some part that will benefit others, in what has been written and produced in text for other people.
Right. And it's not all about money. It's what you're helping other people reach out and take someone's hand and help them open the doors for their future. Exactly.
As they say, self-help.
That's right.
In all these books, that you're helping yourself, and it's for you. When at the end of the day, everything is for you.
Right.
So with this said, I'm going to say good night. I'm going to thank you very much from the bottom of my heart for everything that you're doing in the community and for all your awesome work and all of the, I can't say, even all the recognition and everything that you have done throughout the decades, because it's been decades of work that you have
but I'm only 28.
Exactly. 2 decades?
2 decades.
Going on 3 decades.
All right. Thank you. Good night.
Yes. So good night, everyone. Much love and blessings to everyone. Till next time. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hasta aquí llegamos con nuestra programación en vivo. Gracias por tu sintonía. Dimensión Latina FM, tu radio por internet.